Hi everybody, reporting from my front yard again in Los Angeles. As you can see, we have a fairly overcast day here today, which is quite an unusual thing in Los Angeles in June, but we've had a very chilly June here. In any case, I wanted to give you a rundown on a really cool film that I got to see this past weekend. It was called The Theory of Obscurity. It's a documentary all about a band from San Francisco called The Residents. Now, if you're not familiar with The Residents, they have been around for about 40 years and have done a plethora of albums during that time. So many albums. I've been a fan of this band for about 30 years now. Been following them. I'm an avid collector of their stuff. The Residents are a very unusual group. The first thing that is most notably unusual about them is that in the 40 plus years that they have been doing this, they have never revealed who the actual members of the band are. They always appear in costume in the public, usually in these outfits where they're wearing tuxedos and top hats with great big eyeballs covering their heads. Then they have managers who go under the title of the Cryptic Corporation, who do the actual interviews for them and that sort of thing. The Residents' whole concept is it really shouldn't matter who is making the music. Either you like it or you don't. And does it really affect the quality of the music if you find out that one of the guys has the biggest toy train collection in the world or something ridiculous like that? Anyway, I've been a long-time follower of them. I think the Residents are one of the most unusual and, I'll say, soulful groups I've ever met. I mean, the stuff that they do is crazy. I mean, a lot of people don't groove to it because it's so unusual, and it's very arty. I remember when they did an album called The Third Reich and Roll, and the single they released from it, which sort of summed up the whole album, was their cover of it was a Rolling Stones track. I think it was Jumping Jack Flash, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, Rolling Stone magazine reviewed it and said that it was the equivalent sound that they imagine a man would make if he was driving a nail through his own kneecap. But I highly encourage you to give the Residents a shot. They're an unusual band that they're just an incredibly creative group of artists who have taken things in a direction which I don't think anybody expected. But anyway, so last year a filmmaker decided to do a crowdfunding sourced campaign to raise money to make a documentary about the Residents, and the end result is The Theory of Obscurity. Now, The Theory of Obscurity is a whole concept that the Residents, and actually a friend of theirs early in their career called the Mysterious Ensenada, came up with the concept that unless an artist was left in complete obscurity, they couldn't really create their music or their art purely. So even at one point they decided that until they actually forgot about a record that they had recorded, they couldn't really release it. Hence the reason for the delay of the release of their second album, called Not Available, for a few years after it was actually recorded. In any case, so this documentary was very well done, gave you a good rundown on the history of the Residents. The only thing that is a real problem with a band like the Residents is there's so much history and so much music to discuss that big chunks of their history were just completely skipped or glazed over very quickly, just because you only have a 90-minute film and how much can you talk about. But I highly recommend it for any music lover, mostly because you will see an insight into a group of artists who are truly that. They are artists, and they really push the boundaries of modern music and technology and art and computers, and they're always at the forefront. And I can't say enough wonderful things about the Residents. The Theory of Obscurity, if it comes to your town, check it out. And I think they might still be able to contribute to their campaign. So I think it's on Indiegogo. So go check them out there, and I'd love to hear about what you think of the Residents. Enjoy.